Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of MAGA Headline News. My name is Mike, and today we are going to follow up on the special report I did last night on the Democrat insurrection. Okay, so mainstream media is claiming that Trump administration was holding the mayor of Newark hostage. They're claiming that they were just there to do and conduct congressional oversight. You know, that's a bunch of horse shit, okay? Because you don't just show up as a congressperson and just barge your way in anywhere. You do not have free and open reign to interfere with law enforcement. You do not have free and open reign to barge into jails or to obstruct the safety or national security of American people. All right. They showed up there intending to cause problems, intending to stir up problems. And that's what they did. And you can see this picture here. All right. I can't play the video or else I'll get an age hit on the channel. All right. And I'm just starting out. So, that's the last thing I need. I already got the last one where they attacked the cops. They put an age restriction on it. So I can't even play the video because I know what they'll do. But just take, this is where the mayor, he's barging his way into a prison, risking his own freedom to go and they want to go let the MS-13, the gang members, out of jail for what? For what? These people are out there committing rapes, committing murders, robbing people, beating up people all over the place, robbing tourists, causing fear in communities. What do they want to do here? You know what they're trying to do? They want to stir up the trouble. They want the whole country at war, rioting. That's the reason I put this picture up, okay? Right over here. You see it? Go look in the corner because I'll always leave that picture up there. Democrats' worst fear. All right. That's the Democrats' worst fear, that we unite as a country. They want to control the low information, low IQ public. Okay. That's who the Democrat voters are, the ones that believe this crap. They're going out there causing stunts in order to stir up anything they can. They're going to grab onto any issue right now because they want the Summer of Love Part 2. These Democrats are the ones saying, oh, you elected a felon. You elected a felon. We all know Donald Trump is not a felon. Anybody with a half a brain could see that those charges were made up by Letitia James, who's in a whole heap of hot water herself now, because it was real convenient that she was putting the finishing touches on her fraud as she was charging President Trump with exactly what she was doing. Okay, so we want to talk about who the criminals are here. This guy here that's in the picture, okay, there's the mayor, Raz Baraka. This guy was in trouble a couple years ago, and this is just the stuff they get caught for. Failing to report almost $1 million of his campaign finance money because he went out and spent it on himself, okay? You got the other one that was there starting trouble, okay? Rob Menendez, all right? He's dirty as anything. His father spent 11 years in jail for corruption, former senator. And then this is how the Democrats think. They fall for the propaganda. They go out and elect his son. Who's the criminals here? Bonnie Watson Colman, another one that was there. 2022, she tried to storm the Supreme Court and break down the doors there. She was arrested. Every single one of these Democrats, every one of them, it's a big criminal syndicate. Every one of them are Marxists. All right. Their judges are not allowing Trump to run the country. At what point do we say enough is enough here? Okay. We see President Trump trying to follow the law. We see him trying to do everything right. But sooner or later, Trump's got to make a move here. Okay. Because this country is going to end up getting torn apart. These people are out there looking for any reason they can to just completely tear this country apart. I mean, it's at the point now where they are normalizing trying to free terrorists, the worst of the worst people that were brought in here by them. They're outright showing you, they show their own constituents. They don't care about them. They care about the illegals. And the constituents are still buying into the propaganda. They're out. Some of them are out there defending the mayor. But I'm going to tell you right now, don't feel alone, okay? Don't feel alone, America. Don't feel alone, patriots. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not alone. The majority of America, and it's a big majority, have had it with this crap. We put Donald Trump in office. I'm going to tell you right now, there was well more than 100 million votes that put Trump in office. They tossed out probably 35, 40 million. God knows what else. That was just in 2024. Who knows what he really got in 2020? Okay. At some point, we're going to have to realize that it's here. They're not going to stop. All right. We can sit there and give in to them and say, oh my God, we just can't do this. I mean, these people are going nuts. We don't want the problem, you know. But let me tell you something. There's only one thing standing between you and your freedom and your life, and that's Donald J. Trump. Okay? Because if these people get back into power, I want you to really think about what they would do with it. These are the people saying that their mayor is illegally arrested, that they're illegally arrested in MS-13, they're illegally deported, due process. They want all the laws, they want all the constitutional benefits for themselves now. But when it comes to the other side, you think these people care? These people, Raz Baraka, Menendez, the rest of them, Stacey Abrams, AOC. Let me tell you something. These people, Ilhan Omar, they will put you in jail for the rest of your life and not even think twice about it if they get unchecked power. Just look at what they did to the January 6th people. They were in prison in solitary confinement for 2 years. Solitary confinement. They didn't care. Okay. And that was with the whole world watching. I want you to really think about these people are radical. And we have one chance at this, one chance to clean this up. And that's under Donald Trump. All right. Listen, what they are thinking about this summer is one thing: riots, riots, riots. That's it. They want this country to be torn apart. All right. And here's another thing: they're trying to stir up race stuff. The mainstream media is trying to stir up anything they could with race wars, and we can't fall for that either. All right. Black Americans, white Americans, you know, we go out into public, we see each other, we work with each other. You know, there's no problem. The only problem is what the mainstream media and the Democrat politicians create. Okay. We cannot fall for this stuff, because if we do, we are going to fail as a country. Every single thing they're bringing to us is directly out of the Marxist playbook. If you go out and you look and you research what was done in other countries, it's the exact same thing. Exact same thing. Go look at what they did in Yugoslavia. All right. They did the same exact thing, only they used religion because they don't have diversity over there. They don't have different races over there. So they use religion to do it. They had all the religions fighting while the Marxists took over. We cannot let that happen in America. These people are not going to stop. It's at our doorstep at this point. And I know as Americans, you know, look, we're used to relying on our powerful military and the safety in our own country. But it's at this point, we can't even defend our own country anymore because they have come and crept inside. When you can't attack us militarily, what do? They come and they creep up from the inside. They infected every part of our government. Ilhan Omar, okay? You know, I know something. This party, the Democrats, they're collapsing right now. They're in a civil war. But they're not going to tell us that because they have the mainstream media to make you feel isolated, to make you feel alone, and you are not. You are not. They are the minority. They're the ones imploding, okay? The more they kick and scream, the more they're over the target. You ever catch somebody lying to you, and when you confront them, they go absolutely crazy? That's what the Democrats are doing because they're going over the target, okay? Ilhan Omar is now claiming that, oh, the biggest problem we have in America are white men, white straight men, biggest problem in America. They don't even care anymore. They're just going and isolating. Listen, there's a lot of Democrats that are men. They're cucks. Okay, they're cucks, the Democrat men, but there's a lot of them. So Ilhan Omar's isolating them all. Now she's got that that old fossil. I don't even know his name. It's always crying and whining on MSNBC and CNN. Okay. Now he's going against her, and they got a whole faction of Democrats fighting because now they're trying to isolate all the white men, and they launched that attack on Fetterman. All right. All that you're going to see here is that they're going to try to pull stunts all summer. They're not, this guy, they don't have the right to just barge in any ICE facility and do oversight whenever they want. Okay. It doesn't work like that. We're not a third world country. If Donald Trump tried to do that, they'd say he was creating. Look at these people, what they did. Donald Trump said, "Go patriotically and peacefully walk over to the Capitol," and they're saying he incited a riot. These people are barging through the doors. They're leading the charge, and they're saying that he was held hostage. No. And you know what this mayor's saying, Raz Baraka? That he's going to keep going back and keep going back and keep going back. You want to know why? Because they need something to spark it off. So I'm going to tell you something right now. Patriots, America, you want to lose this country? Bow down to them. Because we will. Trump can't do all the heavy lifting. We have to support him. If he makes a decision, if he has to arrest these people, let him do it. You can't sit there and think, oh, maybe he's taking it. No, he's not taking it too far. He didn't even do it. The people that were there, that they broke the law, ICE arrested them. They tried to overrun a facility, and they would have let those people right out of jail. They think when they want to do something that the law doesn't pertain to them. But when somebody else does something, anything, oh, nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. They switch up. They're complete hypocrites. And they know that they're hypocritical, and they don't care because they're Marxists, and they use whatever they can as an opportunity. All right. And what we need to do is maintain our support for Trump. Do not feel alone. The mainstream media are nothing but liars with a bullhorn. They're good at the propaganda, and they have a lot of our fellow Americans under a spell right now. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't understand it because I would have thought by now that the stories are out there. There's 300,000 missing children out there. Okay. You have former Bush housing secretary saying she knows that they spent $21 trillion building underground cities for themselves for any kind of catastrophic event that they want to create. Because in their mind, they feel they have the infrastructure and the network in place that if they could cause a global war, they feel they have the infrastructure to pick up and rise up from the ashes. Okay. These people have been planning this for a long time. And it used to be that some nuthead or whatever would come out and say this stuff 15 years ago, and people would think they were crazy. Now you can't even deny it because the evidence is right there on the nightly news, right on Fox. You can see it in your face when you go out. If you were going to try to make a plan to take down this country, what would you do? If you had to sit down and think about it, what would you do? Would you, let's say, I can't go attack them. Well, we could send over a sickness that would get everybody sick. We could mess up their whole food supply. So that way, every single 90% of their country is obese, lazy, fat, and unhealthy. We could mess up their medicine supply. That's a good idea. We can open their borders. We can sneak into their government, get control of a bunch of stuff, compromise a few politicians. We could open up their borders. Mass migration is the key to destabilization. We could open their borders and send in 20 million people that don't align with their culture. We could hire a bunch of Marxist professors and start training generations of college students to be sympathetic to all of it so they go out and become soldiers for us. These are all pretty good ideas, huh? We could convince people with mental health problems that you could be whatever you want to be. You want to be a dog, if you want to be a cat, if you want to be a man, a woman, if your kid wants to be a a cat and use a litter box in school, they could do it. And if you have anything to say about it, Colorado will now arrest you. They just passed a law about it. So if you want to take this country apart, those are a few good ideas, aren't they? This Democrat Party has one goal in mind, and you don't fit into it. They're building a country within a country with your money, and you have no part in the final result. Okay? The only people that do are the people they're bringing in that they can control for cheap labor, for votes, whatever. They want you to be sympathetic to all of this. You know what they're doing? They're using these people. They uprooted their lives from their home countries. They brought them all in. Okay? And then they flew them around the country. They bust them all around the country strategically. Okay? They could have just let them go in and do whatever. No, they helped them to get where they needed to. They put them in all places that were prime to raise the population, because when you raise the population in certain areas, the congressional seats get moved to that area. So the red areas will lose their congressional seats. That's how it works. And the blue areas will end up with 2, 3. That's how they start redistricting everything. Or that's okay. So at the end of the day, you'll have 40, 50 new congressional seats in blue areas and 40, 50 less congressional seats in red areas. That's a complete takeover of Congress. These people are smart. They know what they're doing. And it all comes from the big brain, the big Marxist brain, Barry Santoro. Okay? Barack Obama. He knows exactly what he's doing because he was well trained and raised by Marxists. How he became the president, everybody speculates. Was he installed? Was he just good at talking? I don't know. Maybe we will find out someday. But we're in our last chance right here. This is it. If Trump fails, if we don't support him, if Trump fails, you will experience a life that you never thought you would experience before. It's hard to imagine because we grew up here in free America. We had good lives, but don't think for a second that it can't be taken away from us. They're weakening us from within. They're weakening our military. They're weakening our people. They're making us unhealthy. There's not one part of our lives that they have not attacked us in. Not one. They have money for everything they need. Everything. If they need $50 million to send to Uzbekistan to research if cats and dogs are getting along, they print it. If your local city has a pothole that's destroying your cars, there's no money for that. Okay? If you have a bunch of homeless vets, there's no money for that. If you can't afford your taxes, too bad. We'll take your house. You have to live day to day, scraping for every penny. While these assholes like AOC, these fossils like Maxine Waters, invalids, idiots like Elizabeth Warren, Jasmine the asshole Crockett, they're making millions and millions of dollars while these idiots with blue hair follow them like drones and believe every word they say. And the thing that I'm trying to tell everybody here, it's not going to stop. These people are radicalized by politicians that are criminals. Okay? These politicians, number one, do not want to lose their income streams. They set up an entire racket system. The whole country got set up like one gigantic racket to funnel money to them. Not only do they not want to lose their funding, but they have to fight until the end because the only thing that awaits them is jail because half of them are on the Epstein list. The other half are stealing money. The other bunch of them, they're whatever, cheating election, whatever. Okay. These people are serious criminals. And what they're doing is they're using the low IQ, low information Democrat voters to cause chaos in America, to defend them. That's what they want. That this keeps the spotlight off of them, keeps Trump busy. Okay, looking for any reason. Do you think they care if a bunch of their voters get blasted, get done, killed, whatever? No. They want their people to go storm the White House so someone gets shot or killed. So they could go right on TV tomorrow and say Trump's killing citizens. They love it if a Black American or Hispanic American got killed. They'd love that. That would just be more juicier headline for them. They do not care about their voters. They don't. They're just the voters, Democrat voters, just meat to them. All right. So when this Raz Baraka says he's going to keep coming back, you better believe it. He's going to keep coming back. And now that he just broke the ice, he's showing everybody else what to do. Now you're going to start seeing people lined up outside of ICE detention centers, and they're going to pay for it. And I said this, I've been saying this for 3 months. The Summer of Love Part 2 is coming. Just like 2020, Summer of Love Part 2 is coming. And I think Trump, I think you should just, you know what? This isn't going to stop. So as soon as it's exposed enough, Trump needs to pull the chain, Insurrection Act. Because at what point do we realize we're going to lose our country? It has to stop. There has to be a point where these people cannot advance anymore. They're destroying our schools. They're denying our American children educations. Everything in our whole country is getting destroyed. We got a country to fix. All right. In the meantime, while they're doing it in America, they're all one entity. They're causing wars in other states. These people are infected in every other country in the world. Trump is fighting battles all over the world, and it all has to do with the deep state in America trying to take us down. So everything has to be strategic. That's why the arrests haven't happened yet. He has to maintain power. There's a strategic reason for everything he's doing. Everything has to work into one big take back of this country, and that's the goal. The goal is to take it back and to keep it. We have to keep the country. These people cannot come back. You will never get another president. Okay. I like, a lot of our Republican leaders right now. All right. But do I think that any of them are going to be able to do what Trump is doing? Okay. I don't think so. They may be great, but I don't know if there's ever going to be another person like Trump. He's our only hope, literally. So guys, listen, I had to get that out today. All right. These are my opinions. And what I'm trying to tell you guys here is that we need to take this country back. We need to support Donald Trump. All right. They're not going to stop. And listen, guys, I don't write this stuff down. None of my videos are scripted. You're not going to see cuts in my videos. All right. So nothing's going to be perfect ever. But you're just going to get me. You're going to get it raw. All right. These are my feelings, my opinions. And this is how I feel. I've been paying attention to this stuff for a good 20 years now. All right. Back in 2012, I wanted Trump to run for president back then before he was even saying he was running, because I used to watch his interviews and see his ideas. I knew we were in trouble back then. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep following up on this, see what stems from this. Okay, let's see if we have anybody else around the country copycatting these people, or if they're being paid by these Soros organizations to do this. What I'll do is I'm going to probably come back with another report tonight. I'm going to try tonight. I have a couple other topics that I wanted to get to before this all went on last night. Last night I made kind of a sarcastic video, saying this is the darkest day for America since 9/11. But you know what? This could have sparked off something that ends up being the darkest day for America, because this is what they want to do. They want to tear us apart. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to go calm down now. I got out what I wanted to. My name is Mike. This has been MAGA Headline News, and I will see you again. And guys, press that like button. I'm brand new. All right. I got 80 subscribers. All right. If you like my content, okay, I'll always be honest with you. Press like, subscribe, hit the comment. Okay. Whatever it is, help me out a little bit. I'm trying to grow. All right. All right, guys. Have a good day.